Welcome back, everybody, to CCS. It is Fox once again, and I'm joined here by Sleeper. Sleeper, it's been two incredible series, and we will finish the night off with hopefully something that is going to be a grand finale here for us. But first, before we get onto the pitch, how are you today, good sir?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Been just sitting enjoying the chat, watching these games play out, and like you said, they have been very enjoyable. The Utah Utes, they never seem to disappoint with the games that they manage to play. I mean, going back all the way to season 2, they upset the Kansas Jayhawks 3-2, and that was the only loss that they handed the Jayhawks in their road to a CCS national championship. So Utah Utes know a thing or two about content.
Absolutely. We are awaiting the arrival of Arizona State. Utah already ready to get back on the pitch. You know, they had so many emotions there going through in games 4 and 5, a 0-second goal for Brand J that forced game 5 there, and they had a long overtime there as well. Sleeper, if you're a player in this type of scenario where you have back-to-back series and then you just played with so much on the line and so much going for your team and going through the motions, how do you channel that, and how do you find enough left in the tank to really bounce back and bring a good effort here in this next series?
You just gotta find a way to be able to take that and spin some positives out of it, because they did end up losing that overtime, but they have to understand that they played really well and they brought it so close in the series, and they gotta come out with that that fight that they were having towards the end of that series there and really take it against the Arizona State Sun Devils. And just like that, Brand J opening up this series right off.
My man wasted no time straight off the kickoff. It's going to be an unfortunate cheat there that just didn't quite work out Arizona State's favor. Brand J picking up where he left off last series, as he was the last player to score for his club. First player to score in this series. And a 1-0 lead here early on, but Arizona State, they have something to say about that, trying to come back with the counterattack, but they will clear, and Utah will look to continue the offensive flurry they started this series with.
Utah picking up right where they left off, like you said, but can never count out the Arizona State Sun Devils. They were the only team to beat the Colorado Buffaloes last season before the CCS championship in season 4, so they are a very good team to compete with. That demo in the midfield does not end up being any sort of benefit to the Utah Utes, as EB is able to turn it around into a quick goal for the Sun Devils.
Yep, that demo created a little bit of chaos in the backfield, but it didn't matter. Going forward for that demo took away from the defensive amount of resources that Utah had. In doing so, opens the door for EB to take that shot, and he makes no mistake there. So Utah, they strike early, and Arizona State right back. So both teams able to settle in the series early. Hydro, nice patient play. He outweights the defender who had to jump and avoid Bonds. And Hydro glides right around him, and that's another lead for Utah.
Yeah, just causing that distraction on the back line of the goal there opens up just enough space for the Utah Utes to squeak a second goal through, now taking the lead once again, as the Utah Utes, they're in their 4th season of CCS. We are in season 5, but they have been a part of it since season 2. They have never made the big dance, so they are still looking to get their first ticket to the national championship bracket, opening up the season off 1-4 in total after that last series that they just played. It's not a great look on their record, but a big upset win here against the Sun Devils could definitely bolster their record score for that.
It's also good experience, too, being able to play on stream. You know, if you do get to the playoffs, you do have the chance to play multiple series right after one another. Crouton dancing his way through so many players. It looked like a maze, as there were plenty of defenders in the area. Goes under Brand J, up and over the other two, and Crouton is able to create something with that little cheeky flip reset. Great shot from him. 2-2, we are tied.
Yeah, just perfect timing on that as well. Wait until his car was in just the right spot. Got the little nick off of the corner of his car around 2 defenders after getting it underneath that first one. Crouton looking to go the length of the pitch again, but no boost. Ends up in the midfield at the end of that play. Now EB, great 50 from him, working in the corner. Crouton once again getting involved in the play, takes it past 2. Hydro's lying in the net, but Crouton loses control of the ball And now the Utes once again trying to get back onto offense. Haven't been able to establish their foothold in that offensive half quite yet since that goal from Crouton. Now Patrick looking to make something work there, but this defense from the Utes is holding on so far.
Yep, we're about halfway through the game here as EB's going to go up to the sky. He's got players pre-jumping him, so he'll have to wait. That one's going to be used as a deflection. He was used kind of like a pinball paddle. Didn't quite get a favorable bounce, though. Utah was able to sniff that one out. EB from all the way on the other side of the pitch makes something happen, try to poke the ball free. Crouton was the last man. He hesitated just a hair. That might cost his team, but Patrick gets back to the backboard, able to poke it away. Utah, they'll come back calling once again. Bonds, not enough boost to beat Crouton to the air. Right now, if you're Arizona State, Crouton looks comfortable in the air. You might start to work that into your game plan a little bit.
Yeah, Crouton definitely showing out the mechanics in the air earlier on in the series. Crouton a great save there as well, keeping that to a tie game. But Utah Utes on offense trying to get it rolling. Great touch out there from the Sun Devils to keep it to a tied game. Now a little bit of a transition attack here. Hydro gets the ball around one, but EB able to get a touch on it before it goes into the net there.
Yep, good fake there as that opened the door for Hydro. I believe that was Brand J with the backflip. He said, Hydro, here you go, take it, and was able to get through the defense. So definitely vulnerable to good communication from the teams. Make sure keep comms up and you're able to use each other. Bonds now trying to use his shot to penetrate that goal. It will be deflected high. Never sure if it was on target, but EB made sure with a good save to flick it forward. Patrick in front, wide open goal. The shot is good. Crouton with a nice and crunchy finish there.
Yeah, two defenders from the Utah Utes trying to squeak across the goal line, but neither of them ended up being able to get high enough to get the save out. And now the Sun Devils working with their first lead here in the series in game number 1. A minute left on the clock. Patrick again taking it to the skies. Has to get it around Hydro, but can't do so. Ball falls out to right to EB. Isn't able to get the initial touch, but is able to recoup on that ball. Now it's just lying in the midfield, waiting for somebody to take control. Brand J finally does, trying to get it around Crouton, and he is able to do so just around to tie it up once again.
I don't know if you've ever seen a dingo dribble. We just got to see it right there, right around Crouton. My man is ballroom dancing his way to that goal. And a beautiful finish there by Brand J. It's 3-3. We are tied up once again. Something we saw last series, that in case you're just joining us, you missed a heck of a series between Utah and Houston. Something we saw a lot. Utah would come back and continue to come back all series long. They didn't have too many leads to play with, but every time they fell behind, they'd come back, and they're doing so here as well.
They are so good at keeping these series as close as possible, no matter who the opponent is. I mean, you take a look at last series, they brought it to game 5, that overtime ending in a 1-goal difference, and that being the only goal of that game, I believe. Let's just say it was. And yeah. I mean, and against the Sun Devils, again, it's been very back and forth. Bonds can't get that one into the net. We have overtime to start here. As soon as the ball touches the ground, Hydro not allowing that to happen. The ball falls across the goal line, but not into the net, and we do indeed have overtime.
I was a little sloppy there from Arizona State just for a second. Luckily for them, it was not a Utah player. They're ready to shoot. Now Utah's got to get back and get some defensive players in front of their net, as Hydro was the last man for just a second. He took it to corner, though. Nicely played, but Arizona State able to set up there. Crouton with a touch up and over Brand J, but it's in the path of Bonds. Knocked away. Patrick has got a little bit of time, not much boost to work with. He still spots Crouton. That ball is headed into the net off the crossbar, and Crouton has got his hat trick and the game winner all in one goal.
Great pass out from the corner from Patrick there, getting in Bonds' way from being able to make a play on it as well. And the shot was just good enough from Crouton. You saw it go off the bar and down barely into the net, but Brand J was not able to recover from the net to be able to put that one out beforehand. And this is kind of the series that I was expecting to see here at Fox. These two teams, they've only played once before in CCS, but it was a game 5 in the conference championship bracket for the Big 12 last season, so they do have a little bit of familiarity with each other. But again, game 5, that's kind of what we see out of Utah. They keep these games so close, but we just got to be able to see them get over that final hurdle.
Not only that, that was their 6th game of Rocket League. That was their 4th overtime, I believe, as well. So they played more than 6 games worth of Rocket League, Utah have. So it's kind of like one of those long nights of grinding where you just kind of have to go through the motions and continue to bring it. Arizona State right now, Crouton is playing incredible Rocket League. He's playing with mechanics, he's playing with speed, and he was able to finesse that shot there at the end, bar down and in. So if you are Arizona State right now, you are letting Crouton cook because he is tossing up a delicious victory there in game 1.
Oh, for sure. That's definitely the player to look out for the Arizona Sun Devils, Arizona State Sun Devils, I should say. But Utah Utes now trying to fight their way back into this one. EB, a good challenge there. Branje back in time, but Patrick continuing the attack. Can't get it through the corner any more than it was. Now Hydro on the counter. Can't get it past EB. The defense too good. And right off the gate, 30 seconds by. Neither team really able to secure a foothold on either side yet.
Oh, the Bonds gifted an open part of the field there. Crouton had to avoid the demo. EB will try to touch it forward. Crouton does get demoed in the end by Hydro, but Patrick, a good read there on Bonds, who was trying to finesse his way around. And the fake. Oh, my goodness, Patrick. You are disgusting, my friend.
What a fake there from Patrick. My goodness. Got 2 defenders from the Utes to jump for that one. And just took it ever so elegantly around to the other side and secured the first goal here in game number 2.
Hi, is this Crouton? No, this is Patrick. Shout out to Syracuse. No, this is Patrick. But my man Patrick, he said, you guys are talking a lot about Crouton. Don't forget about me and EB as well. EB did have the first goal last game as well. So Crouton definitely not the sole member that can provide offense, as Patrick with a great play. Good patient play. That's the second time we've seen a fake work. We saw a fake from Hydro there in game 1 for Utah. So, both these teams operating at a high level. Good save there by Branje. EB, Arizona State, they look like they've got a little bit of swagger. They're starting to have some sustained pressure here in the Utah zone.
Yeah, it could be that Rocket League fatigue that we're seeing coming out from the Utes. Not able to get out of their own half as much as they were before. As once again, the Sun Devils, they're just staying in the side of the Utah Utes. They haven't really been able to get it around the defense quite often here, as Branje is finally able to get a big clear there, but they weren't really clamping down on that offensive half. They were more just making their presence known in that red half of the pitch. But now the Utah Utes, they need to find a way to get just out of their own half and stay on that offensive half of attack.
Yep, I see you, Citrus, in the chat, dropping the dancing foxes. Love to see it. Here's Hydro going for a shot. EB will knock it away. Shout out to my man, Citrus. And EB going for the backboard. It'll be well covered there by Hydro, sending that ball away. Crouton keeping up that sustained pressure right now. It's layered rotations here for Arizona State, keeping that ball pressed in. And you can do that when you've got the momentum going for yourself. They have to get back there, make a good touch, which they do, and Utah will have to go back to the drawing board from their own zone as Arizona State look to counter.
Yeah, Bonds had a good, quick couple challenges there, but wasn't able to get it around that final man for the Sun Devils. But the Utes, they got their ball out of their own half for a little bit here. Still haven't had too many looks towards the net. I mean, they've had 2 shots compared to Arizona's 5, so it hasn't been a whole lot of offense entirely in this game either, as there's now a 6th there for the Sun Devils, and I believe the first for Crouton in general. So there hasn't been a whole lot of offense like we saw last game, but who needs offense when you can make the other team own goal?
Oh, Patrick. Oh, no. That's not exactly where you want to be. I mean, to his credit, that did bounce off the crossbar straight into his face. But at the same time, that is a tough goal to give up after a beautiful play got you the lead. Patrick, who managed to get the lead, he does relinquish it, but only for now. He's going to be looking to rectify that. Still plenty of time here with about 90 ticks left in game 2. Utah in need of a win to try and tie this series up. Otherwise, Arizona State have a trifecta of match points. After having to play already 5 games and a 6th one thus far, if I'm Utah, I don't want to go to game 5 if I can help it.
Well, for sure not. That's when the fatigue will really start to set in for you. But I bet these players are used to playing quite a bit of Rocket League. There is a lot to go around in the collegiate scene, after all. CCS being one of the many wonderful collegiate scenes around. Now Hydro trying to get that one around. Now a minute on the clock. And like I was saying earlier, Fox, before Utah decided to finally put one in, This game has had a drought of goals and offense compared to the first game. 7 goals in game number 1. We only have 2 goals, with there not even being 7 shots from a single team here.
Yeah, both teams really locking it down defensively. We've seen an outplay, we've seen a mistake. Those are 2 sort of exceptions when it comes to just good, solid defense. Patrick tries to fake out the defense again. Hydro did get a touch there, so... we're seeing some solid rotations, solid defense, just a good sort of chess-like match. Who's going to show their queen first here in game 2? Hydro trying to expose it there with his pass in front, but he'll get denied. He takes out Patrick there, I guess in a little bit of anger for being denied there. Final 10 seconds. We might have another overtime, Mr. Sleeper.
Yes, indeed. 1-1 the scoreline. Almost 0 seconds on the clock. Bonds not wanting to go to another overtime, but EB will happily put it into the corner. Branjay trying to keep it up, but it's going to be a pass out from Crouton over to Patrick. That will hit the ground as we have a raid from Dakota Collegiate RL. Welcome on in, everyone. We have the Utah Utes versus the Arizona State Sun Devils. Currently game number 2, with ASU being up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, big raid. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you had a good stream over there as well. Now Bonds looking to add to this stream, trying to add some moments. You're just joining us. Utah did play a 5-game series literally just before this series. It was less than 5 minutes in between those series. That one will be deflected wide. So Utah are playing their 7th game of Rocket League straight on this channel. And probably the last hour. I don't know exactly when that last series started, but probably around an hour by this point. So Utah has definitely had a lot of time here in the spotlight. They're looking to get the win here. Bonds to the midfield. Crouton will knock it away. Arizona State with some good solid defense, they'll escape.
Especially with the amount of overtime they've been playing. It hasn't just been normal Rocket League. It's been a lot of high-stress Rocket League where any mistake could result in a goal and a win for the other team. Branjay able to get a good save there. That ball is popping up high, but Hydro able to clear it out to the midfield line. Crouton already lying in wait. Again, through the corner. Bonds, a good touch around EB, trying to relieve that pressure now that the ASU Sun Devils have on the offensive half. Crouton trying to get it through that backboard. Can't do so. Patrick now has it, but it gets sent back to that midfield line once again as the Utes, they now look to transition. Branch not able to get the touch, but Patrick able to get the save regardless. Past center, nobody else is there. Branjay on the defensive rotations.
Yeah, Utah's done a really good job of shutting down Crouton, but the problem with that is that Patrick has seemed to come online this game offensively for the Sun Devils. He is now starting to play with that level of swagger that we have seen Crouton. That led to Crouton's hat trick in game 1. Patrick had a great fake-out goal for the 1 goal for Arizona State this game, so plenty of weapons there for Arizona State. And for Utah, just take advantage of what you got. They're a gutsy team. They refuse to ever say die, it feels like. Trying to win this game here in overtime. It'll be knocked away. So kind of like a story of 2 different teams right now. The gutsy underdogs in Arizona State who have outplay potential all over it, would feel like.
That's for sure. Is this overtime now? Half of the normal regulation of a normal game here. 2 minutes 30 in overtime. We could be headed to another very long one here, as neither team really willing to bend or break here in this overtime quite yet. ASU has had a little bit more of the ball on that half of the field on the offensive half, but that's a good play there from Bonds. Gets it around 1, but can't get it around Patrick. But again, not getting it through the midfield line. Now EB finally able to dive in, clear it out. Bonds back out to that midfield line, but there's Crouton over to EB. Now playing it through the corner. It's going to be popped up. Hydro able to get a touch around. Brand J now to continue this one for the Utah Utes into the offensive half.
Bonds tries to set up Hydro. The shot never quite came, and Bonds will get taken out for his trouble. There by Crouton, and EB gets the favor returned right there by Hydro. Couple demos there will offset. Now Bonds to the back wall. He's going to need some help from Brand J, but his touch is a little hard. He glances out for Patrick. No follow-up there from him, and instead head back and be deflected away. So a little over almost 4 minutes of Rocket League, almost a full another game. Rocket League here in the overtime, but it has been good thus far. Now Hydro, he's going to be looking to try and generate something up and over EB, but Patrick's there. Knocked away by Brand J. It just seems like there's a player every single place that both teams go. There's just an opposition's player ready to stop them.
That's right. Long clear there from Hydro. Pops out for Brands in the air, trying to get around the defense. That's pass two. Crouton was lying on the ground. No boost. And Bonds is able to secure it for the Utah Utes with 4 minutes and 9 seconds into overtime, Fox.
Oh, Crouton had no boost. He had to guess which way Bonds was going. And when you make the first move in a one-on-one as the defender, you are in a world of trouble. And great patience there from Bonds, great shot placement, able to win the game, winning the goal for Utah in what was a battle of attrition, almost 10 minutes of Rocket League there. And that guarantees game 4 now. So if you're tired of seeing Utah on the stream, I apologize. You're going to get to see them for another game now. And it might even be game 5 as well. And Sleeper, you have to wonder, how long does Bams' keyboard have with all the support he's dropping for Utah right now? Over, under, does it make it the rest of this series?
I'd say it makes it the rest of the series, but probably not the rest of the night. I think his keys are going to give out after the series. He's going to, no matter what, he's going to be hyped up in the chat, and his keys are finally going to give out there. But Utah Utes, the never say die Utes, they are fighting for their lives right now. And with 4 minutes in overtime there, Fox, you just had to imagine that the Utes, they had to win that one, or this might have seemed like the series would be over.
Oh, Nico has joined the fray as well. As soon as we start to wonder, how much does Bams have left in the tank, he's got a teammate as well. So Utah with the win, and now they will look to try and find the lead in the series here. As for Arizona State, was a tight, hard-fought game. Just didn't really have much go your way in the second half of the game after Patrick had a beautiful opening goal. Now it's EB, has an open goal, just has Bonds to beat off the sidewall. He made the save. Good play there, but here's Patrick in deep. Good 50 around 1, tries to challenge 2, but he ran out of real estate. And Utah with some good, solid defending here early, trying to minimize the amount of chances that Arizona State has when they're in the Utah zone.
Yeah, last game was a complete 180 of the game we saw before. Like I mentioned in that game, 7 goals in game number 1, still ended in overtime. But game number 2, 3 goals that ended in overtime, 4-minute overtime, in fact. So a very limited amount of offense from both of those teams there. You'll have to imagine if that's going to continue and just be the rest of the story here in the series, or if one of these teams is going to be able to find their shooting ways once again and be able to get more than just a 1-goal victory in overtime.
And for Arizona State, it has been over 10 minutes of Rocket League since they've scored. They scored early there in that last game. They had that great play from Patrick. It was under a minute in. And since then, you've had 4 minutes in that game, plus the almost 5-minute overtime and a minute and a half here. It's been a while since they've scored. You just have to keep focused here. You can't let that start to frustrate you. You're not putting in the goals, but you're still very much in the series. It's nice and close. So it's going to be up to Arizona State to make sure to keep the ship righted. Crouton's going to have to figure out where he is after getting blown off the pitch there with that demo. But some good, solid defending. Arizona State are keeping the Utes out. We've got a Rule 1. Do they maintain it, Sleeper? It looks like they are.
I mean, you just have to. You got to respect it. And with the way that both of these teams are playing, a 2v2 really could go in either favor.
Oh, it's broken.
Oh, I don't know how it got broken, but Brand J back on the play, almost making something right after the Rule 1 break, but not able to get that shot on. Now a great shot there and an even better save from Crouton. trying to read Branjay's shot as well, but there's only so much predicting you can do before one coin flip will fall away.
It's a heck of a save from Crouton, but then he jumps off the sidewall thinking an absolute clapper is headed towards the goal. It was a shot that he just needed to drive off the goalpost, it looked like, to save. And Bonds is chatting in the chat. He says, are we going to talk about that? Is that karma? Sounds like Arizona State was the one to break the Rule 1, and they relinquished the first goal. And now if you're the Sun Devils, not only are you not scoring, but Utah continues to put in a couple goals here and there. So things are starting to get a little bit on the side of Arizona State, beginning to wonder, what are we going to have to do offensively to put in our next goal in this series?
Now, usually a 1-goal game with 2 minutes on the clock, you wouldn't think anything of it. You would think, all right, there's plenty of time. But the fact that the Arizona State Sun Devils have not been able to score for over 2 games, including the overtimes there, they need to find a way to break down this Utah defense that they just haven't been able to do quite yet. Whether it's just putting on more difficult testing shots to break down the defense or just constant bombardment on that goal line. Either way, they have not been able to do it and break the Utes' defensive structure quite yet.
This game is so intense, I got kicked out of the party there, but we back. And we are ready to continue watching. Patrick with a good play up, just nobody there in support. As everybody for Arizona State, they were looking for boosts. They're going to have to look for a 2-goal comeback now as Bonds spots an opening in the defense. Hydro hands it back to him. All 3 Arizona players are just too scattered in that wide open area for Bonds. He's going to find it. No mistake there. Great shot.
They were pushed too far up, almost across that midfield line even, without the ball control. And they were caught off guard. That is a huge mistake for Arizona, with goals coming at a premium since game number 1. That is a monumental hill to climb as Branjay, a great save there. Keeping it to that 2-goal lead. Has to come up with another one here. Low boost now situation for the Utah Utes. They have to come away with some great saves as Bonds is able to do so there. Push it back out to the midfield line. Allow those defensive boost reserves to recuperate as Bonds almost got a little cheeky double tap to get a third, but not able to hammer it home.
Big time turnover. Turns into a shot on goal. Branjay makes the save. Good idea from Patrick. Start to tempo the defense. It seems there's a Utah Ute in the way of these Arizona shots every single time Arizona State takes one. Just runs into a wall of red right now. There are vehicles all over the Utah goal that is keeping them out. The Sun Devils, less than 30 to go. You need to get at least something to feel good. Even if you can't complete the comeback here, you got to feel good heading into the next game. That one's through the goal mouth, but Patrick did not have the boost to try and make a play. The Utah Utes, much to everyone's shock, have been able to finally break the streak. They have not broken the streak. I thought maybe after 6 straight games of 1-goal decisions it was over, but it's not. They do concede. Arizona State finally get one back.
It is a little bit in garbage time, so that goal not really resulting in anything. It could be a big momentum shifter here for ASU. They finally have been able to score on Utah after what seems like 3 entire games at this point with the amount of Rocket League that they've been playing. But it's a whole team effort from Utah as well, both on the defense and offense. Hydro setting up both of his teammates on the offensive half, and then all 3 members from the Utes getting 2 saves apiece. So they are a full collective team unit on the offensive and defensive half. And at this point, ASU, they need to pull a miracle out of their trunks right now in order to try and find their way back into the series to at least move it to game 5.
I thought maybe that for the first time we didn't have a 1-goal game for Utah, but it happened again. Mystic wasn't much the same in the chat. He thought maybe it was finally not a 1-goal game, but they made sure to keep the script, keep it moving forward. Crouton with a good glancing save there. Needs some help from Patrick. He gets it. Patrick, no boost, will opt to grab some. But that gives the ball to Branjay, but not for long. Patrick destroyed Bonds. Branjay, Patrick's bothering Hydro as well. That pass just off the mark from Crouton. He put too much on it. That was a great team play as Patrick was running interference, but the pass just not quite where Arizona State should have had it.
Doesn't matter. Patrick is able to get a solo for himself either way. He has the bully on the goal line. Nah, he'll take the ball himself. Around one, Brand J just having to try and come up with something on the defensive end. And with the very clinical and great defense that the Utes have been playing for 3 games now, something was about to give. And unfortunately, it happened finally, but 1 goal and only 30 seconds to play, still plenty of time, as that's just an open net for Hydro, and they're able to get it back right away.
Oh, Crouton, he bet the house money there, thinking that he could be able to win that challenge. He had 2 players there. He was the last man back. Didn't quite get a touch, and Hydro goes right around him and puts the ball in, so the Arizona State lead short-lived. Arizona State, we talked about Utah not spending much of last series leading. Arizona State's not spent much of this series in the lead yet, as they did well in game 1, but since then it has been all Utah, it feels like. Finally, we do have a slightly competitive-looking game, but Utah is going to put them right back behind as Hydro gets his second off of a great infield pass.
Fox, I was about to say neither team has really had much time leading, as it feels like it's been a tie game for this entire series. But the Utah Utes finally able to get a foothold in the series, but EB trying to change that right off of the kickoff, isn't able to get it around the final defender in Bonds there. Now Crouton trying to come up with something on the offense, isn't able to get it through that back wall. Now EB diving into the play. Brand J already on the defensive rotations to push it out. Now going to try and get the Utah Utes back onto offense and try and open up more than a 1-goal lead here.
Now EB, he's going to get met in the air by Bonds, but he stayed with it. Tries to win the ball for Patrick. They work together, but not much boost. Means the Sun Devils have to retreat. Patrick in front of his own goal will touch it past the midfield line, but Brand J has ideas to head right back in. He's going to fake out the defense, and the shot off the ground. Bonds almost had a streaker head into the goal there, but that one will hit the bar. The 4th man for the Sun Devils, keeping this game close. They're going to need another goal here. Definitely don't want to be fighting from 2 now and again.
Yeah, that was such a good fake and shot from the Utah Utes. Unfortunately, it just went a little bit too high off the crossbar. Able to keep up on defense as well. That's another open net look, but no boost for Hydro. He just has to let it go into that post there, as the Sun Devils are now trying to work out of their own half once again. Crouton is in the air, has one to beat, is able to do so. No more boost to work with. Can't get it around Hydro as well. Now EB is going to be diving in. Goes far post. Not able to get it on target. Patrick's follow-up able to be saved as well. Hydro, he has a savior medal. He's been putting in the work on that defensive end this game. And there's still over just a little bit under half the game left to play.
Well, if you look up at the scoreboard, that one little yellow square, that lone little win for Arizona State so far in 3.5 games, came on the back of Crouton. He had an excellent game 1. I am looking for him to come alive for his team. It has been the Patrick show, and he continues to make it the Patrick show. And that's a huge tying goal, as it's going to be, in the end, a give and go with EB. An awkward one, but Patrick makes it work and puts it in. But, I'm looking for Crouton right now when his team needs him. Patrick's been doing all the heavy lifting since game 1. It is time for our crunchy little salad topper to come alive for this Arizona State team and force game 5.
Yeah, he's got to show out those mechanics once again like he was doing earlier on in the series. That one's going to pop up for Patrick, the man himself. Flip reset off the backboard. EB, the follow-up shot, not going to be on. Can't get the second touch either, and has to try and work once again. Now through the corner, Hydro able to get it around 1. He's getting a little bit of bump there, but still able to push it out only as far as Patrick. Now Bond's getting bullied by Patrick as well, and it just seems like anytime these Sun Devils players miss a touch, they instantly go to try and bump the person who's challenging the ball, with quite great success rates, I might add.
Welcome in the one and only Danger Taco, as well as his viewers. I hope you guys are having a wonderful night. We appreciate the raid. Welcome to CCS, some late night season gameplay here between the Utah Utes and Arizona State Sun Devils. We are tied at 2 here in the game, and Utah with the lead in the series, leading 2-1. Hydro going to try and poke it in. Patrick will knock it away, and this one will be cleared forward into Utah territory. That ball is up for grabs. Another Rule 1. Does this one get broken? It won't matter. Patrick is going to put his team ahead with his hat trick.
39 seconds now on the clock. Like you said, Fox, another Rule 1 on that far side not being broken this time around. Patrick is able to come away with another goal and, like you said, a hat trick for the Sun Devils, putting the team on his back here in crunch time. And we'll see what the Utes are able to do here. They have been playing over what seems like an entire series just in overtimes alone in these past two matchups that they've had to play on the CCS channel. Hydro pass center to Branch. Gets it a little bit behind him, so he isn't able to come away with anything there. Patrick trying to clear it out now. 10 seconds going to be on the clock. Still have that 1-goal lead. It's popped up, cleared back out by the Sun Devils. Patrick's already on the offensive half, playing for time as Bonds comes away with ball control, has boost, but it gets hit off of his car by Patrick. Falls center, clear out by EB. And Fox, we are at another Game 5 for Utah.
Oh, man, Arizona State. Patrick, the single-handed effort from him. 3 goals, and when his team needed him the most, that was an excellent game from him. Hydro, of course, on the other side. 2 goals and 4 saves for them. That was so incredibly close. Last time Utah was on Utopia, they did have that 0-second goal, forced OT. They were behind in the series then. They were ahead here. And we go to Game 5 again. Yeah, another Champions Field. They didn't fare too well in the last series. They did fall in a 1-0 overtime, but this one, they've got a chance for redemption here. And Danger Taco, though, he's rooting against Utah. He says he ran into them and ranked Danger Taco recently with an incredible shot. Saw on his Twitter that he hit that sidewall redirect. I had a little interaction with him there. It was awesome to see. And shout out to the GOAT, Mr. Taco, joining us for a Game 5 end to this series.
Now, I just got to say, Fox, there is a reason that the CCS's nickname is the Cinema Content Series. And one team that embodies that more than any other is this Utah squad. They know Game 5. They know how to bring it there. They know how to make it so that it is literally written in the scripts to be Game 5. We saw it happen last series, like you said. The last time these two teams faced each other, it was Game 5. That time it did go in favor of the Sun Devils. So the Utah Utes, they are looking to try and change it up here and finally secure a Game 5 victory.
EB is going to have to clear this one away, but it's right into Brand J's path. So, of course, if you are just joining us, Utah has played a lot of Rocket League. They started on this channel at, I believe it was around 10:49 Eastern was Game 1. It's now 12:09 a.m., so it's been well over an hour of Rocket League for Utah. And they've got to finish here in Game 5. We'll have to see how this goes. Here's Hydro poking it towards goal. Patrick picking up where he left off last game. He had his hands all over that Arizona State victory, and he's going to be looking to do the same here in a do-or-die situation.
He'd be able to clear that one out. Hydro's lying in wait back on his own half. Branjay trying to take control through the corner, but Patrick already there. It's a good 50 as well. Sets up Crouton beautifully. And the ASU Sun Devils are able to take the first goal here in a crucial Game 5.
The demo in front of net was such a good off-the-ball play. You didn't even really get to see it on your screen, but taking out that second man, all of a sudden third man is called into action. He's who gets beat there on that sidewall challenge. That shot has to be deflected away. Good save by Brand J. But that demo opened the door, and Crouton was able to step through. Patrick again. A good challenge and a good pass for his team. Now another pass. That shot, though, off the mark from EB, and the rebound deflected high. It might still be in. And Bond said, no, we're staying 1-0.
Still on the offensive half here for the ASU Sun Devils, trying to open up a 2-goal lead here now, which has been at a premium this series. It's only really happened a couple different times, and that's been later on in the series, but the mental fatigue of playing so much high-octane Rocket League at this point in the night could start to wear and tear on the Utes squad. They're down by 1, still 3 minutes on the clock, plenty of game time left, but as they still get stuck in their own half, you only have to wonder how long before that would be able to be a 2-goal lead for the Sun Devils.
You said high octane Rocket League. I spy 5 Phoenix and 1 Dingo. I do not spy an octane on the pitch. So the comeback of the North America octane that we saw in the Open is not present here in this series, as Bonds will clear it downfield. Hydra's got a deflection towards goal. It'll bounce up. EB will play it slow. He's waiting. Gets a nice touch there forward. He's got Patrick there to help him out. But now Bonds is going to be faced one-on-one with Crouton. He gets a nice challenge on him. Crouton will destroy Hydro. Trying to open the door for his team, but some good defense by Utah. They come back to the house halfway through the game. Utah need to find a goal, and after that save, they'll be feeling pretty good headed upfield.
Yeah, coming away with some more goal line clutch saves, but have not been able to transition that onto offense quite yet. Haven't really been able to get a foothold on that side of the pitch, as Bonds is able to get around the corner, but only as far as Patrick. That 50 pops out center. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be a foot race, but Hydro gets demoed off the field, allowing EB some space, but not a lot, as Bonds already on the attack, centered for Hydro, but EB cutting it off before it can really become anywhere near dangerous, as once again, the Utes working from their own goal line here.
And they're going to need some sustained time in the Arizona State zone right now, because the Sun Devil team, that shot almost falls from Crouton, hit the upper corner of the frame, stays out, because this Arizona State defense, they've really stepped up in these last couple of games. And it kind of the script has flipped a little bit. Now it's Arizona State playing the shutdown defense, forcing Utah into a lack of scoring situation like they were in earlier. And they've done really well to reignite their offense. Now the Utes, they've got to respond here with just about a minute to go.
We see Patrick doing such a good job on the offensive half, but that was such a great defensive showing from him to keep this to a 1-goal game there. Had to come away with 2 great touches and was able to do it. Gets an amazing touch off of the backboard to EB, and it's now a 2-goal lead for the Sun Devils with just under a minute to play.
I mentioned for Arizona State to find success, to find this victory, they needed Crouton. His flip reset put that loose ball out in front. His bump limits the chances of the goaltender making any save, and that is why his team has a 2-goal lead now, as he has reawoken, and now the Utes find themselves in danger of dropping another Game 5 here in CCS tonight. 2 3-2 series losses would be very disheartening after playing a lot of Rocket League in front. But at least for them, they do have some insane amounts of support trying to bring them here. Within a goal, they get one. It's Brand J sneaking his way through.
33 seconds left on the clock for the Utah Utes. The perfect thing here would be a Game 5 overtime to cap off the night, but the Utah Utes, they have a tough ASU Sun Devils defense to try and get around to make that happen. They do have time, but that could start to count down faster and faster as these offensive chances will continue to be put away by the Sun Devils. That one's not going to be. Hydro has an open net to work with, but Patrick back in time to make the save there. Now 15 seconds for the Utes.
Oh, we've seen them with a 0-second magic moment here. Can they have one more? It would be a signature moment. That's a double whiff. The third chance is pinched, and Brand J plays hero again. Utah ties us up at 2.
How much magical fairy dust does Utah have in their back pocket? Seems like every time they need something to go their way, it just happens. It happens. Now 4 seconds left on the clock. Tied game. We are very close to seeing an overtime. Bonds gets the flick. Crouton, too crucial on the defense, able to put that to the ground. Fox, I don't know how we got here. This has been a wild ride, but we have a Game 5 overtime.
Pinch me, I must be dreaming. No, that's just the ball that's getting pinched. That deflection, that was dangerous there, as Utah looking for the game winner. They find magic once again in the final 5 seconds. They've scored a couple huge goals to extend their series tonight, but now can they find the series victory? There's still plenty of Rocket League still to be had. The next goal decides it all here. Crouton can't quite find the touch. He's a little awkward in the corner. Lost it to Bonds in front. Nobody there to pass to. EB will send them back to their own back wall to play fetch. Here's Hydro. Gets it over 1. Patrick's a little awkward there in midfield. As the second man, he gets the touch. Luckily for him, Crouton was there. Bonds with a finishing touch. No. It's kept away at the goal line. Arizona State survive.
It was just barely starting to cross the goal line as well before it was put out. That's a great 50 from Branch, trying to get a pass back, but Patrick already cutting it off, trying to get it through the corner. Bonds, a great challenge to keep that one away. Now trying to get the Utah Utes back onto offense. Patrick, once again, making himself known in the play, isn't able to continue the attack. Branch trying to get that one through to the net, isn't able to get it around EB. Hydro taking some control here. Almost getting into Rule 1 with EB there on the side wall. That's going to be a lobber from Bonds, just going off target. Branjay trying to continue the attack, can't do so. Now Hydro from his own corner. EB is on the offensive half. The fake comes through, but it's not going to be on target. And once again, the Utah Utes, their defense is holding on, but can they get the offense going as well?
I've got EB here. That's an awkward touch. It's That's a giveaway. That's a giveaway in the worst spot on the pitch. It is going to be Bonds bringing home the series. EB with a disastrous touch. And the ball slips in behind everybody. Bonds will finish it. And just like Danger Taco said, you can't beat Danger Taco and then lose on stream. Them's are the rules, and they come through for Taco. They get the Game 5 dub off the heroic play from Branjay and Bonds.
The Utah Utes, they finally secure their revenge, securing the Game 5 overtime. 3-2 in the last game and of the series. Just such an unfortunate touch there in the corner from, I believe it was EB, set to next week.
I think that the BLCS, the BLCS thing was up there for Nation. Nation's had he's had a long night, so don't. And the spam in the chat, he knows what happened. But we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you everybody for the raid. Thank you for Dakota Collegiate for the raid. Thank you to Danger Taco for bringing everybody home. Sleeper, it has been an absolute pleasure. That is going to do it for us here at CCS for tonight. Congrats to Utah. Great series, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.